Hi, everybody. It's Deb Calvert. Have you ever thought about how people cannot do what they don't know how to do? There's a whole lot that our buyers just don't know how to do. And yet we're relying on them to somehow figure it out and make it happen. We give them a solution, a proposal, an idea. And we ask them to take that back and get approval inside their own organizations, to enlist the support of others, to move the budget around, and to do whatever it takes to get our solution moved to the top of the heap so that it gets approval. Maybe that's not a reasonable thing to be asking. There are things, though, that we can do to increase our buyer's sense of self-determination and confidence and competence so that they will be better equipped to do all that hard work behind the scenes, even when we're not around. We talk about this in our book, Stop Selling and Start Leading. This is a new book. My co-authors, Jim Kouzes and Barry Posner, had created the 5 practices of exemplary leadership. That's an evidence-based framework for leadership. And we researched with buyers to see if these very same practices of leadership would make a difference to them in choosing which sellers they would do business with. And the findings were indisputable. Buyers will choose you if you behave as a leader. Here's what we learned about this notion of buyers needing you to enable them to act. That's one of the 5 practices of exemplary leadership. They do. They need you to help them with their competence and confidence so they can get momentum and they can get things done even when you're not there to help them. Let me give you just 3 things from the book that you can do. First of all, you can be available. Right? Don't make the solution, present it, and go away and call back later and say, so are we moving forward? Because what's happening in between requires you to be available to your buyer. One buyer said it to us this way. This buyer said, one of the most important things is that the seller explains things to me to the point where I absolutely understand what's going on. We probably think we're at that point long before we actually are. So we need to be available for the questions that come up and for the encouragement that's needed along the way. The second simple thing we can do is to be responsive. When buyers do have questions, when the going gets tough inside their own organization, how responsive are we being? Here's another quote from a buyer. This buyer explained how that support makes a big difference in saying, one time a seller came up with a plan that I wasn't sure I could handle. She showed me how others were using it and took me through the steps needed to convince others that this was the way to go. So being both available and then being able to be responsive are 2 simple things to do between the time you make the proposal and go back to see what the answer is. Third thing you can do is to be respectful. Respectful of your buyer's decisions, the ones they've made before, and the incremental decisions they're making now to move closer and closer to that purchase you're asking them to make. To be respectful of the other people who are going to be involved as decision influencers, to be respectful of what their needs and concerns might be. Here's what a buyer had to say. It's important that I'm able to have a rational back and forth conversation with someone and that we both respect and understand each other's capabilities, knowledge, and professional situations. Being able to remain responsive and available and respectful toward your buyers during this time between when you've made the proposal and you've gotten the answer will often be the difference between making the sale or not making it. If you'd like to learn more about how to enable your buyers to act, pick up a copy. Stop Selling and Start Leading is the book that includes all of these practices of exemplary leaders. Thank you for watching this video from People First Productivity Solutions. I'm Deb Calvert, and I really appreciate it when you give us a thumbs up or a share or comment on these videos. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe. We don't want you to miss out on any of the new content or tools.